ones who work hard, don't need rest. No breaks when you're chasing success. You snooze, you lose, no redos. Only get one shot, there's no sequel. Have fun, love what you do. Live right, be your own individual. Stay sharp, play smart, this is your life. I don't know much, but I know you don't live twice. Don't waste it, yeah, don't waste it.
Hey everyone, this is Chrissy Morales with Unsung Heroes, and we are here with J Nicole. She is a host, motivational speaker, and an author. She does it all.
Thank you.
Such an honor to have you here. So tell us, what is it that you're doing now? You're doing so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. First and foremost, I am doing a lot right now. I am most recently launched my podcast, the Grief Bully podcast, so I'm super excited about that. I'm also an author of a children's book, as well as a motivational quotes book as well.
Children's book? What is it called?
It's called The Adventures of Graham and Ladybug. It's actually a children's rhyming story that I made in love and memory of my grandmother. So everything that I'm pretty much doing right now has to do with grief and loss and just helping us all navigate that. So the podcast, the book, we're also filming a documentary highlighting two of my cousins' story as far as their unfortunate passing. So we're just doing a lot in the community, to help everyone with grief and loss.
So grandma, huh? Grandma was probably the most impactful person, I guess, in your life since you were doing all this for her. Tell us about that.
No, definitely. So my grandmother, I pretty much always referred to her as my safe haven, my why, just like always there for me. We had a very close relationship. And so I was actually the only girl as far as grandchildren goes. So yeah, so we were pretty close. And her unfortunate passing was March 15th, 2016.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay, thank you. And so that pretty much wrecked my world. Very shocking, devastating, and it took some time to start to do things to change that. But I knew I wanted to write a book, but I was like, yeah, maybe it'd be cool to do a children's book because it's a little more lighthearted, and then, just rhyme and put it together. So the characters on the book actually look just like her and myself. So it's like an animated version of her. She's affectionately called Super Graham in the book. So
that is so
kind of
sweet.
Like a cake. Yeah.
And is it like you guys go on an adventure together?
Yes. So we go on an adventure, and then a bandit essentially steals pancakes. It's actually called The Adventures of Graham and Ladybug Pancake Power. And so a bandit steals the pancakes, and then eventually Graham will get them back, and so she will save the day. So
she's like Super Graham.
Yeah, she is. She has a cape and everything.
That is so sweet.
Yeah.
And you came up with a podcast after her. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the podcast actually, so between my grandmother passing, I lost my dad actually February 14th, this past Valentine's Day, 2019.
That's
so I launched the podcast actually after that, just experiencing a lot of loss and just feeling like it's a conversation that, we aren't having often. I struggle with thinking, is the conversation even worth it? Like, what will it actually help? And to my surprise, it's been very helpful for a lot of people. So.
That's great. Tell us, what do you do on the podcast? Who do you interview?
So initially, the first couple episodes, I'm actually only on episode 6. We just recorded episode 6. So I've had myself, I've had my wife, I've had my mom, and I've had my cousin most recently. And the first 2 were to paint more of a story on my grief journey and just the different perspectives that we all have, because, we have our head down and we're looking at our own experience, but to show that and how it related to them. And then my cousin most recently, she actually has a true story of resilience. Both of her brothers are the ones who were filming a documentary about. So she lost them both 2015 and then 2017. Yeah, 2 years apart, 2 years spanned. And they were her only siblings, So her story comes out this month. It comes out Monday, September 23rd.
Well, we look forward to hearing about it. I'm sure it's very impactful. Going through grief is something that people try to shy away from, but it's okay to feel grief. Yes. And it's okay to feel that sorrow. Sometimes people need to go through that to then overcome those obstacles. Yes. What are some things that you would say, that you say on your show to kind of encourage people with that?
I would say first and foremost, definitely make sure that you seek professional help and counseling. I always say that I don't have any clinical background. I'm not a professional therapist or anything along those lines. So my goal is to have the podcast be a bridge to help motivate people who actually need the professional help to go there and seek therapy. So I myself have had a grief therapist for the last couple of years, and she has been in the field for over 25 years.
Wow.
So it's been very, very beneficial. Yeah. So that is the number one thing I would say, is to definitely get professional help in counseling.
That's good. And how is it that your podcast has helped people? How would you say that you know, the feedback that you're getting? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so some of the feedback I've received, a lot of folks have said that they didn't even know that they were grieving. They didn't know what grief was. And then just to not feel alone anymore. So to know that there are other people out there that actually get it and understand. That's been one of the biggest things, is definitely, and also that it is a topic that we do need to talk about and have more.
Yes, for sure. And thank you so much for sharing. We'll be right back after this short break.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is J Nicole. I am a podcast host, motivational speaker, and author. You can follow me on social media at I_am_J Nicole. You can click the link in my bio, connect with me on my podcast, The Grief Bully. I am so excited to get this out in front of you guys. Love and light. Peace.
Welcome back. We're here with J Nicole, who's talking about grief and her podcast. So tell me more about what you're doing with your podcast and how it influences your spoken word.
Yeah, so my podcast actually has kind of taken a place of my spoken word. So I always like to communicate. I've been articulate. I love communicating and meeting new people. So now that I get to do that and also inspire them and motivate and encourage them, it's the same thing essentially as the spoken word. It just doesn't rhyme all the time. Although on a recent episode of my podcast, I did kind of do a little fake freestyle. It's funny.
That's cool.
But other than that, it hasn't really so much inspired my spoken word as it has just, I guess, added to my voice and just made my voice stronger because I'm getting the feedback that this is something that we need. Right. So it's igniting me to keep going. So even on the days when I don't really necessarily want to, I do it because I know that there are people watching and that look forward to, you know, that motivation or inspiration, especially around grief.
Right. That's just such a touchy topic, you know, and it's good to have a podcast that people could listen to that are going through, you know, these tough times. Are you thinking of possibly bringing in a medical professional to speak? No,
yes, absolutely. Actually, in October, I'm going to have my grief therapist. She's actually going to come on to the show, and we plan to hopefully have her make more frequent cameos. I also, in addition, will have other people on as well. Once I get the remote interviewing thing down, I've got to try out the different options to have people who are not located in the southern New Jersey area on the show, because I've made a lot of great connections with folks who are just not in this area per se. So yes, to answer your question, we will have, my goal is to bring value. And I'm not the kind of person that feels like I have to be the one to deliver the value, although it's my show. I want to bring on whoever's going to help us change lives and impact people. So
I love it. Yeah. And you're doing everything right. You know, you're putting out positive stuff, but you're also touching on it's okay to grieve.
Yes.
You know, and it's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to go through those emotions. When a lot of people feel, you know, especially, you know, if there are men out there, they feel like they got to be tough. Right. What kind of words of advice would you give to them right now?
Yeah, it's actually funny you mention that. I'm going to have some male guests on soon.
Cool.
I was talking to a few gentlemen recently, and also for me, it's important for it to be African American men of color. Just because I feel that there's a stigma that they don't talk about their emotions and that it's more of a hardened culture. So I want to continue to break the stigmas around that. I was actually speaking to a man who did 10 years in prison the other day, and he was, you know, sharing with me, you know, just how the podcast and just my videos have helped him, you know, look at some things. And yeah, he's been very motivating. And so, I mean, it's a big guy too. So we were having this dialogue and I'm like, okay, God, like this is awesome that we can just, it's transcending those cultural differences. Like no one is isolated. There's no discrimination when it comes to this category. So we just got to keep pushing.
There is no discrimination when it comes to grief, and it's okay to be in that state. But it's good that you're helping them, you know, overcome those challenges. And I think that it's beautiful that you're getting such positive feedback, because what you're doing is impactful and it truly is impacting their lives. Now, I heard you do your spoken word at the women's empowerment group that we were at together, and your words are powerful. What would you say motivates you to say those things?
You know what? I think as far as actually speaking, I do think it's a God-given ability. And it's funny because when I was a kid, that was the main thing I got in trouble for, was talking too much. Yeah, we have that in common. Just talking so much, talk. And I remember saying to my brother, my older brother before, he's like, oh, why don't you just be quiet? And I was like, God gave me a mouth to talk. I'm going to use it.
That's right.
And, yeah, so ever since then, I just think it's a light. And I always say my tagline is love and light, because I feel like that's just how I share my love and light is verbally. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's just, and also it helps when you do get the feedback and that your delivery is actually penetrating people. Yes. So that is what keeps me going as far as that. But the poetry itself, I kind of have scaled back. Mm-hmm. Haven't really tapped into it. I have a lot of people out there who are disappointed to an extent in that, but it's just not the season in my life right now, and I think everything has a time.
And there's different seasons for everything, and it's okay to take a break from one thing if you're focusing on the next. Yes. Now, what would you say you're working on now to kind of like push what you're doing?
Again, we have the documentary. We also have a private, closed Facebook group. It's called Grieve and Grow. That was kind of where we originally were before the Grief Bully originated, was Grieve and Grow. So we have about 100 and maybe 5 or 10 members in there, and we have different dialogue and conversation where people can just, if you never experienced complicated loss or grief, it's kind of hard for you to relate. So not that you won't be empathetic and care, but to have someone that actually gets it, like, oh, you lost your father, I lost mine, you lost your brother, I lost mine. And so it's a platform where they can talk in there. So I'm definitely continue to push and grow the membership within there. It's free, it's no charge. To add to that group, connecting with people on social media every day as far as the podcast goes, and everything that we're doing, the motivational videos, and just helping, because grief is not just about the loss of a human. It's not just about the loss of a loved one. So just kind of helping that and overall with mental health and wellness.
How would you say that me and you went to Rowan together? Yeah. And that's so awesome. We studied journalism. Tell me about how your experience with journalism and being a woman in media has impacted your life.
Yeah, so first of all, go Profs.
Go Profs!
Yeah. So I'm class of 2009. And I just always loved writing, and I love that creative aspect and just doing that. And I think as a woman, it just gives you more fire, for me personally, to just continue to make sure that my voice is just as strong and equal, if not better, than anyone, as far as like male or females go. Right. But no, I've definitely just been motivated and inspired. From Rowan was a great opportunity, great education, and a lot of great students there as well. So.
Yes, and for those who haven't attended college, what are some ways that they can get involved with being part of the podcast world? Yeah,
I would say, honestly, social media and Google and YouTube will help you go a long way. It'll help you with the proper equipment, the sound. I listened to tons of YouTube videos before I actually launched my podcast, so I understood, I still have a lot of growing to do, but just I found people who I like their style and just learned of, certain ways to go about it. I actually just connected with a lady. We did a Facebook Live the other day. Her name is Heather Parody. She's out actually in Atlanta, Georgia. She has a group called Unconventional Leaders, and I love her interview style, So just finding people online, figure it out, ask questions, and you can make it happen.
Yeah, don't go in there blind and then think that you can. And that's one of the things that I have heard of previous guests who come on, is that they don't just go in there without knowing what they're doing. Yeah. There's a passion behind it. And I think that, having that passion is super important. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Having the passion, willing to go all in, and understand that it's not something that will be like an immediate return as far as, it could be thousands of listeners. But, for my mission personally, if I can just save just one, then I've already won.
Yes, and I think you're doing that. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll be right back after this short break, and we'll find out what makes J Nicole an unsung hero. Hi everyone, I'm Chrissy Morales, the producer and host of Unsung Heroes. If you or someone you know has a positive story to tell, email me at tvunsungheroes@gmail.com, and you could be sitting right there. Welcome back. This is Chrissy Morales with J Nicole. J Nicole, it's such an honor to have you here. You're talking about such powerful things. Tell me about that documentary that you're working on. So the documentary that I'm working on, it's not a solo project. It's myself, Latanya, and Kira. If you follow me on social media, you will know exactly who they are. They are my team, and we are actually doing that in conjunction with Terrence Arlen and Arlen Entertainment. So we're having it professionally produced and recorded and edited and everything. So essentially, Project Equals 20 is another movement that I'm a co-founder of. Nice.
And so we have been working over the last year or so on a documentary raising funds. Equals 20 actually. My two cousins, so my cousin Kira, it's her brothers who this their story. So we're pretty much highlighting Kira and her family's story and showing what she went through as far as the losses of her brothers. So creatively, LaTanya owns Adina J Designs, which is our decorated apparel business. And we were like, hey, we need to come up with something. So we put their two names, Scotty and Steph, and made a cross out of it, but we did it in Scrabble pieces. And so the Scrabble pieces tally up to the number 20. Wow. So equals 20. So that's what the equal 20 stands for. So we wanted to do a documentary to highlight life after loss, also the repercussions of drug use, because they did unfortunately pass away from drug overdoses. So Kira just wanted to have that. We wanted to rally around her and give a platform to shine light on her story and just show to help other people with mental health, wellness, and drug use and addiction.
That's so cool. How is it turning out? Like, you just in the beginning stages of it? Or
yeah. So we're about I think about 60% filming done,
wow,
and we're just over 50% with the donations. The fund. There was donations, but with our monetary goals. So we're continuing to chip away at that every month, and because it costs a lot to produce and get a documentary done.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're working diligently with them to get that done. So they've been filming Kira, different areas. She's from Glassboro, New Jersey. So a lot of the documentary will highlight Glassboro. We've been to the high school, different locations. So we just have to add a few, other families and like family members, her mom, different people who have to be.
And now, are you getting actors, or this is like your actual family is?
No, this is just the actually real deal.
So
it's just it's raw, just legit telling their story. So it's very important, most importantly, to make sure that Scotty and Stefan's memory do not just go away, and that we can continue to have something to highlight their lives, and that's very important to us. And also for Kira, for her resilience. I couldn't imagine losing two siblings, and so for her to do that and just show that you can bounce back, you can recover, but it's going to take some work. So that's what the documentary is mainly to do, and to highlight their story as well as a few other families as well.
Yeah, and that's really impactful, because what she's going through right now, and to be able to do a documentary on it, even while she is in that state of grief, that's amazing. We give you a round of applause for being out there and just being a strong woman and really coping with this. Now, for other people out there who are dealing with, grief in their families, what would you say to them, especially someone like Kira who just lost their two brothers?
I think one of the biggest things you have to do is understand that it's important to become a great listener. So you don't always have to have the right thing to say. So I think a lot of times we try to talk people's pain away. So it's like, oh, you'll be fine, or no, I understand. Like sometimes people just need you to listen. And one thing I always say is to ask, what does support look like? And let the person answer. And I've learned that the hard way, because I'm like a person that's like, hey, let's do this. And some people just need you to shut up and be there, just
that
be
is
there.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I've actually come across that, and I really don't know what to say, because I've been in that state of grief before, but everybody's different, Everybody's way of coping is completely different.
Very true.
There is no one right way.
There isn't, and not everyone wants to talk about it. And I'm very much aware of that. So that's why our mission is for those people who they might be silently wanting to talk about it, but they don't have an outlet, they don't see a way or how they can possibly accomplish this. So I don't think everyone wants to talk about it, but yeah, definitely just asking that question, hey, what can I do to help you out? I understand you're going through loss. And sometimes you can just send a text message with maybe a heart or something. You don't have to actually have the words, but just let that person know that you haven't forgotten what they're going through.
Exactly, and it takes time to heal. It does take time.
I think it'd be a lifetime. I don't know if I'll ever actually heal.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Losses.
I lost my grandfather, and he was one of my best friends.
Yep, I heard your story. Sorry about that.
I loved him. I still love him so much. Everything I do, I have the last name Morales.
Yes.
Because of him, and he's just to me, he was my world, and I'm so happy to have had him. So I understand what you're going through. It's such a blessing for us to be able to be here right now. A divine connection, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
It's so cool. So where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and just say, hey, can you talk to me?
Yeah, no, for sure. So you can definitely follow me on Instagram at I_am_J Nicole. You can also follow me on Facebook, just J Nicole Jones. And you can join our private Facebook group, Grieve and Grow. So just go to Facebook, type in Grieve plus Grow. And you can also go to my Instagram bio, and click the link, and you can find my children's book. You can find the links to the podcast, our decorated apparel business at Dina J Designs, as well as projectequals20.com to keep up on the documentary as well. And follow us on project_equals_20 on social media.
And what are you doing the Project 20? Just elaborate a little bit before we head out.
Yeah, so it's just a documentary. We've also been out to some schools, talked to students just about, the reality of drug use and the decision making and how your family will have to try to cope and live after that. We had some apparel going, and we're just, again, it all pretty much is intertwined. It's just different branches of the same message.
That's so cool. Well, we look forward to seeing more of you.
Yes.
J Nicole, you've been such a blessing to be here today. We want to honor you because you're honoring all these people who are going through grief. We want to honor you with an Unsung Hero Award.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much. Best of luck. And you're just touching many lives.
Thank you.
Are there any final words you would like to say to the audience?
No, you know what? I would just probably say, just remember that this too shall pass, and that with the right mindset, with God and the faith and the right support system, you definitely can overcome. And just follow me if you need some inspiration.
Yes, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, this is Chrissy Morales with Unsung Heroes. Let's take some selfies.
Yeah, right.